Jai Shri Krishna. Welcome to today's class. Have you ever thought why we can walk without slipping, or why moving will stop on its own, or when we rub our palms together it produces heat, we can feel it? The answer is one magical force, friction. Today we will learn about friction, a necessary evil. In this class we learn why we are calling a necessary evil. Without friction, we cannot walk, write, or even hold things properly. But too much friction causes wear, heat, and energy loss. That's why it is called unnecessary. We learn the definition. As we see, friction is one type of force which opposes the relative motion between two surfaces in contact. Let's see by taking example. There is a box. When I give force to this box, it starts to move from its place. When I stop giving force, it stops at its place. It is because of the friction between the surface of the box and the surface of the table. Because of the force which I give by moving it develops friction between the surface of the table and the surface of the box. It is the reason why box stops when I stop giving the force. Now let's see the types of friction. There are three types of friction. First is static friction, second sliding friction, and third rolling friction. First is static friction. As we can see by the word static. Static means at rest. When the object is at rest, static friction acts. For example, here is a book. Book is on table which is at rest. Now if I push it, give it a push, it starts to move because of the static friction. The second is sliding friction. This book can slide because of the sliding friction. Here two surfaces are, one of table and second one is of book. When book move, it produces friction, and it is the reason why book can slide on the table. Third is rolling friction. Rolling friction acts when object is rolling on a surface. This is the bottle. Now it is rolling on the table because of the rolling friction. This friction acts between the surface of table and the surface of the bottle. It is the reason why bottle can roll on the surface. See the three types of friction. the surface, more friction produced, and the less surface, the less of the surface means when the surface is smooth, the friction produced is less. First factor that affects the friction is roughness of the surface. For example, when you try to walk on the road, we can easily try and our speed is also fast. And when we walk on the smooth surface, like of marble, our speed of walking is slow. This is the reason. The reason is friction. More of the surface, more friction, and when surface is smooth, friction is less. Second factor is weight of the object. More heavier the object, more friction will produce. For example, when you try to move a heavy cupboard, your more energy is used because the friction between the surface of the land and the surface of cupboard is more. Therefore, our energy is more used because we have to give force more. Third point is contact of surfaces. Sliding has more friction and rolling has less friction. When object is rolling, the friction produced is less, and when surface is sliding firm and slow, the friction produced is more. Now let's see the advantages of friction. We can walk. It is possible because of friction. Friction helps us to walk. Second, vehicles can move due to the friction between tires and the road. Writing with pen, pencil or chalk is possible because of friction between the object and a page or whiteboard. Writing on matchstick is possible because of friction. We all know the first fire is produced when man drop two stones. When two stones drop, the surface of this whole stone produce friction and it produce the fire. So fire is also the advantage of because of friction. Nails, screws and knots all can hold tightly because of friction between surfaces. Here are some advantages of friction. We can walk because due to friction. Vehicles can move, we can ride. Writing is possible. Fire is also possible because of friction. And nails, screw. and notes can hold tightly because of friction between two surfaces. Now see some disadvantages of friction. It causes wear and tear of shoes, tires and machines. Where we all wear shoes, but after some time it wear and we can't use it because of friction. When we walk, it produces friction and the surface of our shoe is decreased because of friction between shoes and the road. Second is advantages is it produces unwanted heat in engine. Third is it leads to wastage of energy. Fourth point is reduced efficiency of machine. When machine works, it produces friction, and due to friction, after a long time, it reduces the efficiency of machine. These are some disadvantages of friction. Now, let's see the method of reduce of friction. First is using lubrication like oils, grease. We can use oils and grease in engine, so the friction between in machine can reduce and we can use the machine for a long time. So by using lubrications like oil and grease, we can reduce the friction. We can polish the surface to make them smooth. Polishing can also make the surface smooth, so we can reduce the friction. Scribbling of shape can also reduce the friction. By trimming the shape of aeroplanes and we can reduce the friction. Now, let's see some method to increase the friction. By roughing the surface, we can increase the friction. The more rough the surface, more friction will be produced. Second is using rubber soles in shoes. Now let's see some daily life examples. First, rub your hands together. When we rub our hands together, it produces heat because of friction between our two palms. Second is sticking a matchstick. Matchstick. When we strike matchstick on the box surface, it produces fire because of the friction acts between the surface of box and the matchstick. Third is slide a book on a smooth surface and a rough surface. You clearly see the difference between the smooth surface bottle on or any slide of bottle. When we roll the bottle, it rolls slowly, and we slide the bottle from any slope. It slides very fastly from the slope. Friction is very useful. Without it, life is impossible. As we see in the friction topic, friction is very useful in life. Without it, life is impossible. We can't even walk without friction. But friction can also cause many problems. That's why friction is called a necessary evil.